Hello and welcome back, everybody. How you doing? Hope everything's going well. Yeah, this video is a bit different because I'm actually gonna learn how to build stuff. You know, in the recent videos in the Python documentation, you could see that I was making videos on updates and stuff, right? The latest updates. But I actually want to build stuff, right, using Python. So I'm gonna look for a free book online, free books on Python, and I'm gonna start with game development because the good thing about game development is that you sort of you try to build animations, you try to build maps, characters. Like it has sort of it includes stuff from every aspect of a coding language, right? Like you gotta build stuff, you gotta include stuff, you gotta set up servers, you gotta connect stuff. So like every aspect of coding is and servers and all that stuff. So it's like a 360 degrees development thing, right? So in game development, you're mostly using probably all aspects of coding, probably. And that is why I want to start with building stuff with game development. So what is this? Making games with Python and Pygame. All right, this looks like a cool book. I'm just gonna download it. In the downloads folder. Yeah, and hopefully you can see this. Now I'm gonna go to, because to actually become a good coder, we need to build stuff, right? Now I want to become a really good coder to the point that I can make up my own logic, build my own code, right? Like think and whatever I'm gonna build, I can make the logic and stuff, and then I can just build stuff. I want to become a good coder. In order to reach that point, I really need to start building stuff. So, hold on. The name of the book is... What is the name of the book? The name of the book is Making Games with Python and Pygame. Hold on, let me go full screen. Alright, this is the name of the book, Making Games with Python and Pygame. And who's the author? It is Making Games with Python and Pygame by AI. No, that's not AI. Forgive me if I pronounce the name wrong. All right, it's either Al Sweigart, all right, Al Sweigart, or however you pronounce it. What I understand from this name could be pronounced like Al Sweigart. So my apologies if I'm pronouncing it wrong. So I'm gonna be making videos. This is the first book I found. Alright, let's start reading. Let's start going through the book. And hold on. Who is this book for? When you get down to it, programming video games is just about lighting up pixels to make pretty pictures appear on the screen in response to keyboard and mouse input. So books actually teach us a lot. And that is why I'm starting with a book. Hold on, is this... You know this metal rectangle full of little lights, right? Yeah. I spend most of my life pressing buttons to make the pattern of lights change however I want. Sounds cool. Sounds good. But today the pattern of lights is all wrong. Oh god, try pressing more buttons. It's not helping. Well, alright. And there are very few things that are as fun. This book will teach you how to make graphical computer games in the Python programming language using the Pygame library. Alright. So I just told you guys, I told you people why I'm starting with a book. The books teach us a lot, and I'm starting with game development because it's most probably it will cover every aspect of development, setting up the server, making a map or something, I don't know. So I'm guessing it will cover most of the aspects of programming because we can't just stick to one thing in programming, right? We got to learn different stuff. You need to have domain knowledge and stuff out of the domain as well. This book will teach you how to make graphical computer games in the Python programming language using the Pygame library. Alright, this book assumes you know a little bit about Python, or programming in general, yeah? If you don't know how to program, you can learn by downloading the free book, Invent Your Own Computer Games with Python, from this website, alright? or you can jump right into this book and mostly pick it up along the way. This book is for the intermediate programmer who has learned what variables and loops are, but now wants to know what do actual game programs look like. There was a long gap after I first learned programming, but didn't really know how to use that skill to make something cool. It is my hope that the games in this book will give you enough ideas about how programs work to provide a foundation to implement your own games. The full text of this book is available in HTML PDF. Alright, let's go there, I guess. You need the full... Read the book online. You know what? I'll just follow that book for now. About this book. Hello? This book will teach you how to make graphical computer games with the Pygame framework, also called the Pygame library. In the Python programming language, Pygame makes it easy to create programs with 2D graphics. Both Python and the Pygame framework can be downloaded for free from python.org and this website. All you need is a computer and this book to begin making your own games. This book is an intermediate programming book. If you're completely new to programming, you can still try to follow along with the source code examples and figure out how programming works. However, it might be easier to learn how to program in Python first. Invent Your Own Computer Games with Python is a book that is available completely for free from this website. Okay. That book teaches programming by making non-graphical text-based games for complete beginners and also has a few chapters about using the Pygame library. However, if you already know how to program in Python or even some other language, since Python is so easy to pick up and want to start making games beyond just text, then this is the book for you. The book starts with a short introduction to how the Pygame library works and the functions it provides. Then it provides the complete source code for some actual games and explains how the code works, so you can understand how actual game programs make use of Pygame. This book features 7 different games that are clones of popular games that you've probably already played. The games are a lot more fun and interactive than the text-based games and invent with Python, but are still fairly short. All of the programs are less than 600 lines long. This is pretty small when you consider that professional games you download or buy in a store can be hundreds of thousands of lines long. These games require an entire team of programmers and artists working with each other for months or years to come to make. The website for this book is this. All the programs and files mentioned in this book can be downloaded for free from this website, including this book itself. Programming is a great creative activity, so please share this book as widely as possible. The Creative Commons license that this book is released under gives you the right to copy and duplicate this book as much as you want, as long as you don't charge money for it. If you ever have questions about how these programs work, feel free to email me at Al, is that an L? At eventwithpython.com. Alright. Table of contents. Let's just get to the first chapter, I guess. Chapter 1. Installing Python and Pygame. What you should know before you begin. It might help if you know a bit about Python programming or how to program in another language besides Python. Before you read through this book, however, even if you haven't, you can still read this book anyway. Programming isn't nearly as hard as people think it is. If you ever run into some problem, you can read the free book. Invent Your Own Computer Games with Python online at this website, or look up a topic that you find confusing on the Invent with Python wiki at this. You don't need to know how to use the Pygame library before reading this book. The next chapter is a brief tutorial on all of Pygame's major features and functions. Just in case you haven't read the first book and already installed Python and Pygame on your computer, the installation instructions are in this chapter. If you already have installed both of these, then you can skip this chapter. Downloading and installing Python. Alright. Before you can begin programming, you'll need to install software called the Python interpreter on your computer. And I already have that. You may need to ask an adult for help here. The interpreter is a program that understands the instructions. The interpreter is a program that understands the instructions that you will write. Alright, so we're going to write the instructions and the interpreter is going to understand them. And it's the program itself. Or rather, type out in the Python language, okay? Without the interpreter, your computer won't be able to run your Python programs. Well, we'll just refer to the Python interpreter as Python from now on. All right, gotcha. The Python interpreter software can be downloaded from the official website of the Python programming language. Yeah. You might want the help of someone else to download and install the Python software. The installation is a little different depending on if your computer's operating system is Windows. Okay, so depending on if your computer's operating system is Windows, Mac OS X, or a Linux OS such as alright, so I don't know how to pronounce this. Is it Ubuntu or Ubuntu? I'm just gonna say Ubuntu. You can just tell me in the comments how to pronounce that, alright? You can also find videos online of people installing the Python software on their computers at this website. Windows instructions. When you get to this website, you should see a list of links on the left, such as about, news, documentation, download, and so on. Click on the download link to go to the download page, then look for the file called Python 3.2 Windows Installer. Windows binary does not include source. And click on this link to download Python for Windows. Double click on the Python 3.2 MSI file that you just downloaded to start the Python installer. If it doesn't start, try right clicking the file and choosing install. Once the installer starts up, just keep clicking the next button and just accept the choices in the installer as you go. No need to make any changes. When the install is finished, click finish. This is so detailed, it's so cool. I think I'm going to learn a lot from this book. So these are the instructions for the Mac OS X. Mac OS X 10.5 comes with Python 2.5.1 pre-installed by Apple. Currently, Pygame only supports Python 2 and not Python 3. However, the programs in the book work with both Python 2 and 3. Oh, that's cool. I mean, it's okay, whatever version. You just want to learn Python. Build stuff, right? The Python website also has some additional information about using Python on a Mac. At this website, you can see it. Ubuntu and Linux instructions. Pygame for Linux also only supports Python 2, not Python 3. If your operating system is Ubuntu, you can install Python by opening a terminal window. From the desktop, click on Applications, Accessories, Terminal, and entering sudo apt get install Python 2.7. Then pressing enter. You will need to enter the root password to install Python, so ask the person who owns the computer to type in this password if you do not know it. You also need to install the IDLE software. From the terminal, type in sudo apt get install IDLE. The root password is also needed to install IDLE. Ask the owner if your computer is typing this password for you. Starting Python. We will be using the IDLE software to type in our programs and run them. Alright, IDLE stands for Interactive Development Environment. Interactive Development Environment. Alright. We'll be using the IDLE software to type in our program and run them. The development environment is software that makes it easy to write programs. Just like word processor software makes it easy to write books. If your operating system is Windows XP, you should be able to run Python by clicking the Start button and selecting Programs, Python 3.1, IDLE Python GU. Yeah, that's a Python graphic user interface. For Windows Vista or Windows 7, just click the Windows button in the lower left corner, type IDLE and select IDLE Python GUI. Alright. So most of these chapters, I think, is covering the installation instructions. If your operating system is Mac, it says Mac OS X? Isn't that supposed to be Mac? Start IDLE by opening the Finder window and click on Applications. Alright, no worries. And click Python 3.2 and click the IDLE icon. Let's move on. If your operating system is Ubuntu or Linux, start IDLE by opening a terminal window and then type IDLE 3 and press enter. You may also be able to click on Applications at the top of the screen and then select Programming, then IDLE 3. The window that appears when you first run IDLE is called the Interactive Shell. The Interactive Shell. Shell is a program that lets you type instructions into the computer. Look, we have something interesting. What is a shell? A shell is a program that lets you type instructions into the computer. We're typing instructions into the computer. The Python shell lets you type Python instructions, and the shell sends these instructions to the Python interpreter to perform. Look at that. So interesting. So, if you're using a Python shell, if you've ever used it in your whole life, right? What it does is that it lets you type Python instructions, you know, the code. And the Python shell, in which we're typing instructions, that shell is going to send those instructions to the Python interpreter to perform those instructions, right? So, yeah. let's just open the IDLE. So I see a lot of stuff here. EXE, where's the IDLE? I don't know if that will, oh, I actually see it. Is that it? Is that the IDLE? Alright, yeah, okay. So, click on applications and click Python. You know what? IDLE. You know what I think this would simply mean this. It would simply mean this, the IDLE. Because this is what I understand from the images. You see this? It is very similar to this. For more information, yeah, it has Python 3.15 right now. What did I just open? I opened. Alright. Okay, let's get back to where we were. Now we have to move on to Pygame. Yes. Pygame does not come with Python. Like Python, Pygame is available for free. You will have to download and install Pygame, which is as easy as downloading and installing a Python interpreter. In a web browser, go to the URL. This is the URL. Just gonna open the link in a new tab. If it works, still works. Alright, it still works. Yes. Python. Pygame. So, go to URL. Yeah, that is what we did. We went to the URL. We did go to the URL. Oh, how many URLs did I open? Hold on. It's opening the news. Click on the downloads and link on the left side of the website. Yeah, I don't see that anymore. Yeah. Considering the book might be old. I don't know how old. But it's not going to be hard to install Pygame, right? This book assumes you have the Windows operating system, but Pygame works the same for every operating system. You need to download Pygame, install it for your operating system, and the version of Python you have installed. You do not want to download the source for Pygame, but rather the Pygame binary for your operating system. For Windows, download the Pygame. .91. If you see a newer version, I want to download install newer Pygame. Getting started. The latest Python version gets usually faster. Okay. Pip tool, which is what Python uses to install packages. This Python in recent versions just come with Python in recent versions. -- user flag to tell it to install into the home directory. Okay, let's install Pygame. So, open up VS Code. Yeah. Open up VS Code, alright. You know this, I remember correctly, this was not showing up. Right? In the previous video, was it showing up? Hold on, these are not the files I'm looking for. New file. Text file. Select the language and go to Python. There we go. Come on. Yeah, here it is. This is what I was looking for. I couldn't see that. I'm currently at 3.14. I'm gonna switch to 3.1. You know what? 3.14 is okay because it's already developed. So let's just move with 3.14. So if you have some problems, you'll probably switch to some other version of Python. Alright, yeah. Python 3. Alright, let's type in the commands. First we have Python 3. And I also want to I also want to open ChatGPT on the side so we know what we're doing. There is. Is a command from the official Pygame website. I want to know what each part of this does. So first part of Python 3. This tells your system to run Python version 3. I did not know that. It ensures you're using the correct Python interpreter, especially important if you have multiple Python versions installed. It ensures you're using the correct Python interpreter. I do have different versions of Python installed, like Python 2 and 3. I mean, I have Python 3. I don't have 2, I guess. I have different versions of Python 3, 1.4, 3.14, 3.15. -m pip. Is that pip or pip? I need to watch videos on this. The -m flag means run a module as a script. You know, you do know that I've been using this in the previous videos, the -m flag, right? Run a module as a script. You know what a module is, right? Import from this module, import that. From that module, import that. So you know what I'm talking about. You get what I'm saying, right? We can, because there is a whole topic, we can write a whole book on these, on an individual word in any programming language. Like, there's a whole history behind that single variable or whatever we're talking about in programming. Like, there's a lot of history in coding, and it helps knowing stuff. It helps. Anyways, let's get back. The -m flag means run a module as a script. So we're trying to run a module as a script. What is that module? Let me just bring this back. Close this over here, and oh my gosh, this, because I'm not this again. Oh yeah, new tab. Alright, that's cool. And then I can just use Control Tab to switch. That's much better. It's good to know shortcuts. So what is the name of the module? Hold on. Here it runs Python's built-in module, pip. So I did not know that. That pip is Python's built-in module. And we're trying to run that module as a what? We're trying to run that module as a script. Of course, from the previous videos in the Python documentation, you know that using -m, we can run a module as a script. Of course, in the terminal, of course, it's like a code. It's like a code that we're trying to run in the terminal, which we usually do not do. Next, okay, so I'm going to type pip. -m is going to tell us that we're trying to run a module as a script, and the name of the module is pip, which is Python's built-in module. And what is pip? It is also a package installer for Python. We can install packages using pip. So Python 3-m pip guarantees you're using the pip associated with that specific Python interpreter. And we need to understand this. This guarantees that you're using the pip associated with that specific Python interpreter. So all this is going to guarantee that we're using the associated pip with this version of Python. This avoids problems where the pip command might point to the wrong Python version. You know that actually happens? That actually does happen a lot. Next we want to install, this tells pip, install Pygame. This tells pip to install the Pygame package. Hold on. Let me write the code. Oh. I don't know if it's Control Tab, because I'm on Windows, so I'm using Control Tab to switch between the tabs. Python 3, alright, install. And this is the point where we install stuff. Install -u. Alright, this is an interesting part. -u. install the Pygame. Install obviously means install. We're installing something. Why do we have -u? This stands for upgrade. It tells pip to upgrade Pygame to the latest version if it is already installed. Alright, I get it. So we're actually installing Pygame. We know that. But for if by any chance Pygame is already installed and we do not remember that we already installed it, so -u is going to automatically upgrade Pygame, whatever we have, to the latest version. So it's a win-win situation for us, even if we have Pygame installed. And what about install? This tells pip to install the Pygame package from the Python package index. Python package index, PYPI. I guess PY for Python, package for P, and index for I. Python package index. Alright. So we're installing Pygame from the Python package index. I did not know that. And Pygame itself is a package. There is so much to absorb. And after this, we're going to type Pygame, I guess. Yeah. And then there is --user. We need to know what that is. So let me just type it down. Now you understand the whole command. We're going to use Python version 3. -m, we're going to install this is going to tell us that we're installing this module as a script. We're running this module as a script. And what is the module? The name of the module is pip, which is Python's built-in module, I guess. And install, you know what that means. We're installing stuff. From where? We're installing stuff from the Python package. Hold on. Yeah, Python package index. We're installing packages from there. What is the name of the package we're installing? Pygame. What is -u? If Pygame is already installed, it's going to upgrade Pygame to the latest version. And now we move on to --user. This flag means install the package only for your current user instead of system-wide. It puts the package files in a directory. Like this. So I don't know if according to the book we need to install the system-wide or for the current user. I'm going to go with system-wide. I'm going to remove that. So let's do it. What? Didn't work? What if I just do pip install Pygame? Does that work as well? Yeah, that works. That actually works as well. Hold on, instead of system-wide, it puts the package files in a directory like this. This avoids needing administrator root privileges. So I just used pip install Pygame because this command did not work for me. It's totally fine. It also works, but different from that is that your system uses whichever pip is first in your path. When you just type pip install Pygame, your system uses whichever pip is first in your path. Usually the one associated with your default Python installation. So if your setup is clean and you only have one Python version, that command works perfectly. Yeah, I do have that. Yeah, I have 2 versions of Python installed. Check your Python versions. Python -- version. Alright, so it actually did not install. Alright, I am back. Okay, yeah, so this is not a setback. This is a process for me to learn, to understand. I'm going to try that command again. Python 3 Yeah, -m. The name of the module is pip install. So there is -x, right? And it was -u. It's gonna upgrade to the latest version, and then what was it? Yeah, the name of the package, and then -s user for the current user. No, it didn't work. Alright, let's see what's wrong. Okay, Python 3. So I understand from this that when I run Python -s version, it gives me 3.15.0A1. I run Python 3 -s version, it shows a cross on the left side of the VS Code terminal. Good observation. So Python works, and which is pre-release alpha version. Python 3 doesn't exist as a recognized command in your system. Let's unpack that and fix it. When you type VS Code is red, it means your system doesn't know what Python 3 is. There is no command by that name in your path. It's very common on Windows because the command is usually just Python on Python 3. The Python installer for Windows doesn't always create a Python 3 alias. What you should do instead, since Python works for you, use this version of the command instead of the website's version. Okay, we're going to continue. That's from the friendly equivalent of this. Alright, so we're going to continue with the website instructions. So I'm going in a logical way. I want to install Pygame. I'm instructing the interpreter to follow the version of Python that I have. And -m, the name of the module is pip. What I'm installing, I'm trying to install Pygame, but I want to check if it's already installed or not. I'm going to check if it's already installed, upgrade it, and then install Pygame for the current user. Alright, so these are a lot of errors. Oh my gosh. I ran the Python -m command. Excellent, you hear the full error log. Your log shows this key line. This means your Python installation can't verify SSL certificates, so it fails to securely download the required files to build Pygame. This happens because 3.15 is in an alpha version, unfinished review, and it doesn't actually include a normal install certificates. Hold on. I forgot to tell you what version of Python I'm using. Pygame isn't officially built for Python 3.15 yet, so pip has to compile it manually. And install verify. Instead, I should download Python 3.12. Alright. Okay, which is better? 3.12 or 3.11. So everybody, hopefully everybody learned something from this. It says here that Python 3.15 is an alpha version, unfinished review, and it doesn't include the normal install certificate step that stable releases have on Windows. Pygame isn't officially built for Python 3.15 yet, so pip has to compile it manually, and that step fails because it can't download dependencies securely. Alright, it doesn't have the install certificate step. Alright, no problem. No problemo. This is another learning thing which I love. My suggestion is install Python 3.12. Alright, let's do that. Python download. I can see 3.12 over here. Well, this is 3.12.4. I'm gonna see where all the versions of Python are. Downloads, all releases, here it is. Yeah, this is Python 3.12. There's actually different versions of 3.12 as well. I'm gonna go for the one in 2025. This is the one. This is the recent one, October 2025. Security release. If that is a security release, what about this? This is security release as well. Alright, so I'm gonna go back to this one. Let's just download this. 64 bits. Windows installer, 64-bit. Now it's downloading. Come on, come on. Let's go for it. Let's download 3.12.4. Alright, it is done. It's sitting in the downloads folder. Add Python to path. You know what? It's actually, I don't know what all of this does. Let's just go with the default installation. Default installation. Let's do that. Let's do that. Download, download. It's downloading. Come on, it's installing. Alright, it's installing. Why does it say test suite? Documentation. Alright, alright. So I was thinking about covering the older documentation of other Python versions because I'm covering the recent versions of Python, which is 3.15. And in my YouTube series, I have like 3.15 covered. I'm most probably 3. I don't know if I have 3.14 or 3.13, but somewhere in the videos, I do have an older versions of Python documentation. I was thinking of making videos on the older version as well because somewhere in the universe, somebody might be using some other version of Python for some random reason. It might help him out. It might help that person out somehow. Python, come on, hurry up. Hurry up, come on, come on. 3.12, hurry up. I want to use Pygame, I want to use Pygame. Come on, please, hurry up. I want to hurry up, please hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. Let's read this. Set up a successful new to Python, start with the online tutorial and documentation. At your terminal, type Py to launch Python or search for Python in the start menu. See what's in this release or find more info about using Python on Windows. Alright, let's do this. We now have Python. So that means I have 3.12 over here. Yes, I have. Alright, now let's do this. I want to use my Python interpreter. 3.12. I want to check the Python version. So I want to switch. So I've installed 3.12, but when I type Python dash version, it shows 3.15. How do I switch? Now I want to switch into PowerShell. It's not switching into PowerShell. It's already, the interpreter's already there. Py dash dash list. All right. Py dash dash list. Yeah, these are all the right ones. Py dash 3.12. I'm in VS Code, default, terminal, PowerShell. Come on, this is beautiful. Continue, please. All right, that makes it really easy to fix. Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Test it with this. Yeah, but using Python 3.15 in the terminal, I want to switch to 3.12. But the interpreter on the bottom right corner, I've selected 3.12. But in the PowerShell, I'm sorry for the spellings, I'm just really typing fast. It's using 3.15. So I have to explain the whole story to this. So the interpreter is set to Python 3.12, but a PowerShell is still running 3.15. That's because VS Code's interpreter setting only affects how it runs your code. That's because VS Code's interpreter setting only affects how it runs your code. Run button debugging. But the integrated terminal just opens your normal PowerShell, which still follows your path. And your path currently points to 3.15. So what I understand, we all understand from this, but that the terminal that VS Code has is going to point to our normal path. It follows our paths. So if fix to make terminal start with 2 instead. Okay, Pi-3.12. Pi-3.12. Alright, now let's check what version we have. Oh, I'm sorry. Exit and then Python. This is what could work. Make Python point to 3.12 permanently. If you want to just type Python and get 3.12, do this. We're Python. Alright, let's do that permanently then because we're Python. When I run where Python, I don't see anything. I know what this is. Copy the whole path. Let me just copy this. Alright. Press Windows R. dm.cpl. Hit enter, go to advanced. Like system variables, alright? I'm sneezing. I'm sneezing today. Alright, advanced environment variables. Environment variables over here, click new. Hold on, isn't this the same thing? Yeah, I think everything what ChatGPT is telling me is already done. Yeah, this is a script. What ChatGPT is telling me, and this is the official installation. It's already there. All of this is already done. There's for all the 3 versions Python that I have. VS Code integrated terminal is just a normal shell, PowerShell, and it picks the first Python it finds on your path. How to fix this? Open Control-Shift-P, alright. Control-Shift-P and search for Python. Create terminal. Oh yeah, that's cool as well. I can just kill the terminal. Control-Shift-P. Create a terminal. Alright, so this should create a new terminal. Python -- version. Let me just close VS Code and then turn it on again. Alright, I have Python. I'm gonna create a new file. Yeah, 3.12. 1.4 is global, so recommended. I'm gonna go at 3.12. Alright, so now if we check the Python version, yo, it did switch to 3.12. I just restarted the whole VS Code. So what I did was I restarted VS Code and then selected 3.12 and it worked. Python -- version now shows 3.12. I want to know why and how this worked. Why the terminal is using 3.15. Even though you selected Python 3.12 in VS Code, bottom right corner only tells VS Code which Python to use for running scripts and debugging, not the shell. The integrated terminal in VS Code is just a normal terminal. When you type Python, PowerShell looks through your path environment variable for python.exe. Windows finds 3.15 first on the path, so it runs that, ignoring the interpreter VS Code selected. However, in the past, when we were checking the environment variable, 3.12 was on the top, right? Doesn't that mean that 3.12 should be the first environment variable? Your terminal still ran 3.15. When you select a Python interpreter and restart VS Code internally sets a workspace environment for that interpreter. When you open a new integrated terminal, VS Code prepends the selected interpreter's folder to the terminal's path automatically. Now, when you type Python, PowerShell finds 3.12 first. So I have the old path with 3.15. How this works under the hood. On Windows, path determines which executable runs when you type a command. VS Code can inject its selected interpreter at the start of the path for each new terminal. Restarting VS Code plus opening a new terminal ensures that the path is updated to include 3.12 for anything else. That is why now both your terminal and the interpreter selection match. In short, before restart, terminal's path finds 3.15 first. Yeah, in the environment variables. After restart and selecting 3.12, VS Code prepends 3.12 to the path, terminal finds 3.12 first. Prepends, what does prepend mean? Add something to the beginning. VS Code prepends, it adds something to the beginning. That means the 3.12 folder to the path. It adds at the very start of the list of folders that PowerShell looks in for reason. Oh, okay, so VS Code adds to the very start the 3.12 folder. It adds that to the very start of the path. So when you type Python PowerShell C3.12 before any other Python version, then runs that one. If it were appended, it would go at the end of the path, and an older version like 3.15 would still be found first. Yeah. Oh, okay. Append and prepend. All right, I get that. Think of it like a queue. The first folder in path gets first dibs on any command you type. Prepend is you'll put it at the front. Oh, okay. So VS Code puts it at the front. 3.12 first. All right. So if that theory is correct, I'm gonna switch to 3.15. I'm gonna turn off VS Code, and let's start VS Code again. So that means so according to this theory, it should show 3.15 now, based on the theory, right? Hold on. It's showing me 3.12 now. Hold on, I think it has something to do with this. And now if I turn it off, and I turn on VS Code, I gotta think. I have to think. And now, what version of Python is it gonna use? The interpreter I have 3.15, but over here, if I go to 3.1, you know, this seems like a long story. Well, now, this is an unsolved mystery. Maybe the commentators in the chat, or maybe people watching the video, can tell me what is the actual solution, or what is the story behind this. So I just wanted to run 3.12. It's working somehow, and I don't know the reason. So that actually might not be the reason. I'm trying to figure it out, but I don't know actually. I mean, look, if we go to the environment variables, hardware and advanced and environment variables, and then the path. The first one on the top is 1, 2, and then we have the 1, 5, and then 1, 4. The first one is 1, 2, right? Well, you know what? Deleting the interpreter might have something with this. Deleting the shell might have something to do with this. So let's try to test the theory. Delete the shell and then switch to Python 3.14. Let it load, let it switch. Alright, now close. And now reopen this code. In this terminal. That should open. I have 3.14 selected, as you can see over here, the interpreter. Python -- version. It's still 3.12. It is still 3.12. Hold on. Let me delete this. Create Python. Create. And that was. Create. What command was it? You know what? This is not solving any sort of mystery. I guess I'll have to dig deep into this. I'm just gonna close this. Open up VS Code. Everything is started and let's open a new terminal. Let's close all these files. Alright, Python -- version. I don't know how this works. It's honestly so confusing. So anyways, let's just get back to installing Pygame now. So Python, the module name is pip install. We're gonna install Pygame, but we already have that upgraded. Pygame for the current user. So that should hopefully solve the Pygame problem that we were having previously, the certificates problem. As ChatGPT told us that there might be some problem with the certificates in 3.15. I mean, that step might not have been added. As you can see, it worked. Pygame is working with 3.12.4. No problema right now. To see if it works, run one with included examples. Okay, let's see if it runs Python. Now we're gonna run a module as a script. The name of the module is pygame.examples.aliens. Example. Oh, it does run. Hello, friend Pygame community. Oh, it's pygame.examples. There's an S. Alright, Python-m. Pygame.examples.aliens. It works. It works. Pygame. Hold on. Let me run it again. Python. Pygame.examples.aliens. Oh, I forgot to add the -m because that's going to run the module as a script. Pygame.examples.aliens. Yeah, it runs. And I can control it. There we go. I really want to solve the problem of Python interpreter. Okay, Python shell. Hold on. VS Code shell is showing different version of Python than the interpreter. So we might have a solution online, even though my settings are this. Oh, he's using 3.111. Alright. And VS Code selected Python interpreter is 3.11, but version is showing 3.8.8. Yeah, that's the same problem that I have. How long is this? Wow, this is from 2 years ago. So, as I've been having issues, VS Code doesn't use Python command. It refers directly to the specific interpreter by the full path. If you read any script VS Code, you'll notice that it says this. Remove path from path variable. Select interpreters panel detects and displays all Python versions. If you think you have to enter environments, you use the python-verse command in terminal. The output results is nothing to do with the settings in your settings.json. It depends on the Python settings in the environment variable path in your computer. The role of Python.default interpreter path and settings is when you open a new workspace, if you do not manually select an interpreter, it will use this default interpreter as a Python interpreter in workspace. And then use run Python file to execute the script. So there is no direct solution to this besides just uninstalling stuff. Let's see what Google has to say with it for this. When the VS Code integrated terminal displays a different Python version than the one selected as interpreter VS Code, indicates a discrepancy in how VS Code and the terminal environment are configured to locate and utilize Python. The VS Code interpreter setting explicitly points to a specific Python executable. However, the integrated terminal by default often inherits the integrated terminal, PowerShell, by default inherits its environment, including the path variable. That launches VS Code. Having multiple versions on your system can lead to confusion if desired path variable is not correctly configured. Ensure correct interpreter selection. Configure settings.json for the terminal. Settings.json. Let me just experiment with this first of all. File preferences and settings. And then we're gonna go and then open settings JSON icon. I guess this is it. Oh, okay. I see it. It's just 312 right now. 312 right now. So this actually might work. This actually might work. This is in my VS Code JSON file. This is the most important part. It tells default interpreter path. Whenever I open a Python file or new terminal uses exact Python executable. New terminals. When you open a new terminal, it can start a session using that Python. By appending it to the path internally, we're activating its environment. That's why after restarting VS Code, typing version and terminal shows 312. Okay. So if I change this to any version, will the shell show that version? And but you must restart VS Code for the change to take effect. It won't do it automatically. Alright, let's try that. First, we need to do this dm.cpl. And then we're going to go to advanced, performance, environment variables, the path, 312. I'm going to use, first I need to see the path for this. I don't mess stuff up. Alright, I get it now. Python.exe. Go to advanced, environment variables, come here for a bit. .exe, where is exe? Scripts. I just have to change the number. 312, 315, 314. Let's try to change this to 314 and see what happens. Alright, I've changed it to 314 and I'm going to close VS Code and open up VS Code again. Now let's restart the terminal. Yo, look at that. It's 3.14 now. So is that the solution? Did I figure out the solution, bros? Did I figure out the solution? Dash version. Dude, come on. That just changes the interpreter version. Well, let me delete the shell and let's open a new shell. Let's open a new shell. This is very confusing. Need to figure out what's up. They're not interconnected. If they were interconnected, they would be like in synchronization. The shell and the interpreter. It is still 3.12. So I saw it now. It just changes the interpreter, not the shell version. This is still a problem. Hold on. What VS Code's interpreter selection actually does is that Python default interpreter path. Yeah, I get that from this. Settings.json. Yeah, the interpreter is actually connected to this. I changed 3.1. It changed it to 314, and it's shifted to 314 here as well. So if I change it to 2, you see it automatically changes it to 2. If I change it to 5, look, it shifted to 5. So I'm just going to take it back to 2. Okay, I'm going to save this, and I'm going to just close it for a second. Because we got to work on 3.12. Yeah, and this executable, what this does, interpreter selection. It tells VS Code itself is Python executable to use for running scripts, debugging, linting, etc. Scripts, debugging, and linting. Does not automatically override the system Python in an already open terminal like PowerShell. VS Code can prep the path for new terminals so that Python resolves to the selected interpreter, but only if it activates the Python environment or prepends the path. If the Python is installed globally and not as a virtual environment, VS Code might not modify the path, leaving Python still pointing to the default. Oh, alright, there actually is. Wait. The global one is 3.14. I recommend it is 3.5. No, I don't want to use virtual environment. I want to know the logic to fix this so I can change the Python version in the PowerShell based on my needs. In PowerShell run, okay, $env path split percentage env. Oh, it's $env. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I keep doing the same thing again. Just copy paste it and run. Yeah, so the first one is 312, right? So if I type here Python dash dash version, it's gonna show. Yeah, when I type 3 Python dash dash version now in the shell, it does show 3.12. You can see Python dash dash version. It's gonna show me 312. Why? Because look at the list of the environment variables. The first one is 312 is obviously gonna show me 312. Here's the logic behind why it suddenly works. PowerShell uses a path environment variable. This is what I understand from this, yes, to find python.exe. In your path, 312 comes before 3.15. Because 3.12 is first, when you type version, PowerShell finds 3.1 first and runs it. Yes, that is true, that is correct. If previously the path's order was different, I had 3.15, right? Look at this. 3.15 was at the top because I installed that second. First, yeah. So the interpreter you select only affects VS Code scripts. The terminal itself depends entirely on path order. If you want, I can show you a tiny private function that lets you switch on the fly so you don't have to edit path manual each time. Yes, let's do that. Now we're getting somewhere. In PowerShell run, is there a default method in VS Code or anything already present to do this? Interpreter bottom right corner tells VS Code which Python to use for running scripts. It does not automatically change the version internally. Yeah, I get that. I get that. It doesn't have a built-in switch. Either modify path manually or use a function like the one I wrote. Alright, so I'm gonna try to use this script that ChatGPT gave me to switch on the fly. It's gonna help me change the Python versions. I'm gonna run it, and then if it works, we're gonna try to understand the code later on. Notepad, dollar profile, alright. And so I'm just gonna copy all of this and then just paste it. I don't know. Am I supposed to paste this inside it? Or paste this function version. Do I put the code in the notepad file or in the PowerShell in VS Code? PowerShell profile is a script that runs every time you open a new PowerShell session. Alright. Paste the function in a notepad file. Alright. There we go. Save it. Yeah, in the downloads. What do I name file? Yeah. But when I put the code in the notepad profile thing, it asks me to save it. But I need to name it. I need to name it as well. Cancel. Hold on. Capture run dollar profile. Alright. Yeah. I'm really confused on what to do here. Step by step, tell me. Type this notepad profile. Alright, let me paste this code. It has a name called steric.txt. Alright, I'm starting to understand what I have to do here. First, I'm gonna run profile. No, not this. This is what I have to run. This is gonna give me the path. I'm gonna copy this. And then save as, paste the full path. Now I'm gonna paste the full path. All files. I have to save it as all files. Let me see if the path is correct. Yeah, it includes the users and all that stuff. I'm gonna save it to the downloads folder. Downloads. And I tried to name the file. It says path does not exist. Also, I'm saving it in the downloads folder. Okay. Let's do this first. See if this folder exists. It does not exist. Okay, this C, and then users. Documents, and then create a new folder called PowerShell. Alright. Windows PowerShell. I need to create this folder inside it. Alright. There we go. This should be the file name. I gave it the file name as instructed. How about I just navigate to this? That should work as well. If I just go to this, C, users, and then, hold on. C, users, documents in PowerShell. Yeah, this is documents in PowerShell. And then go into the PowerShell folder. Now I have to run dot, and then a dollar profile. Saved it to as you said. And this is the name of the file. As you can see, the name of the file is Microsoft.PowerShell underscore profile. No, it actually is PS1. If I go to users, this, documents, yeah, it's a PowerShell script. Yeah, it's a PowerShell script now. Dot profile. Run this command. Yeah, I get what the problem is. It's inside Windows PowerShell. I installed it in the wrong place. It's in the wrong place. I get it now. This should be inside this. You know, once you start understanding coding, it becomes really cool, and you can, right, like you can actually build stuff. So now if I do this, this should actually work. Hold on. Let me close this. I'm gonna open VS Code again. Now I'm gonna type profile. That's dollars, dollar. Windows PowerShell. It's Windows PowerShell. Windows PowerShell. The initials are capital. So now it should actually work, but it's not working. Microsoft.PowerShell underscore profile. .ps1 is there, yeah. Alright. The problem right now, we're manually executing the script. Installer profile. Oh, I actually understand what the problem is. Forgot that. It's directly taking me into... It's skipping a folder. Look, users. It is skipping a folder. Yeah, if I type profile here, I actually figured out something myself. I might have created an extra folder because ChatGPT told me to. What? I misunderstood the file path. You told me to create an extra file. What if I just delete the extra folder. Windows PowerShell. No, I mean, if I delete the PowerShell folder, because profile in VS Code gives me this, right? Profile is giving me this. There's an extra PowerShell folder. No, not that, bro. If I delete the PowerShell folder in this, oh my gosh. No, I'm asking to delete the PowerShell folder, not the Windows PowerShell folder. I'll just cut it and paste it in the PowerShell folder instead. Yeah, bro, it's not that hard. I'll just cut this and paste it here. No. This is not what I'm supposed to do. Oh my god. Cut this. Paste it here. Delete this because that is actually not needed based on this. Look. Oh my gosh. Come on, bro. See this? Technically, this should actually be working now. Look, error is gone. Oh my god, ChatGPT, what have you done to me, bro? Bro, it worked. My solution worked. Now, how do I run it? I don't want it to run automatically. I just want it to run when I want it to run. So change the code inside it a bit. And then tell me how to change the Python version. Yeah, that's the one. So basically, this new script won't run auto, right? It will only run when I want it to run, right? Exactly. The new script won't run automatically. It would not run automatically when you open PowerShell or start a new session. It will only run when you manually execute it, which is exactly what you wanted. So I'm just going to copy paste the code quickly. Modify your purpose from a manual. We only could auto run every time. And this is the code for the manual stuff. What is this? Yes, that's correct. This code defines. And alright, and what is up with this? And it is all manual, right? Yes, it's all manual. Nothing will automatically will manually call a function. Alright. You want to set your Python version manually. Just to be safe, give me the code once again. For the manual stuff. Not auto, nothing auto. I'll paste it into I'll paste it again. Alright. That, and just to make sure we're on the same page. No automation. Alright, so let's go to this. I'm going to open this with the text file. Notepad. Close all of this, save this. And then now I need to load it. Alright, now I'm just going to set the Python version. I'm going to set it to first, let's see. I have 3.15. And now if I check the Python version, yo, it works. It actually works. It actually works. We've got people, it actually works. Wow, this is beautiful. I love this. So now there's not going to be... Alright, it works. But how do I turn off the file? Or do I not need to do anything beyond this point? You don't need to turn off the file since it's only a script that gets loaded when you call it. It won't keep running after you've used it. Once you close the PowerShell session, the script will no longer be active. Only exists for the current session. Once you close PowerShell, your script is gone. If you want to stop using it during your session, you simply close the PowerShell window, or you can manually remove the function by running. The script itself is not running in the background. It's only loaded when you run the set. So once you're done, just close PowerShell. If you're done for the day, you can leave it, and everything will reset the next time. So simply put it, I don't need to do anything, right? Just close VS Code when I'm done with coding, right? Exactly. Once you're done, just close. Once you're done, just close VS Code or PowerShell. Exactly. Once you're done, just close VS Code or PowerShell. That will effectively turn off the script because it's only activating during that session. The script won't keep running in the background of the Python. The script would not. The script would not keep running in the background. Won't keep running in the background of the Python version. Switch will reset when you open a new session. You don't need to do anything special to turn it off. Just close VS Code or close the PowerShell window when you're done. Just close VS Code or close the PowerShell window when you're done. You have to run this command again if you want to switch versions for that session. You know what? This is beautiful. This is lovely. It works, everybody, it works. This script is working. It works. Alright, so the script works. As you can see, I can set the Python version in the PowerShell. This is a PowerShell in the VS Code, the default terminal. So set Python version. So I have different versions of Python installed. You already know 1.2, 1.4, 1.5. So right now it's 1.2 in the shell. I'm going to switch to 3.15. There we go. I want to switch back to 1.2. I can do that as well. 3.12. There we go. Switch to, you see, if I check the Python version, hold on, let me switch back to Python version 3.15, and then if I type the official command, if I want to check what version I'm running, you see it's 1.5 now. So I'm gonna go back to set Python version 3.12. Now if I do Python -- version, it's 3.12, right? So this is it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I also have to explain how the script works. Where did I install, where did I put the files and stuff? So I'll be seeing you in the next video. We'll be doing all that in the next video. But just to tell you something short, if you just go to your C drive and then go to the users folder, and then this is your username, whatever username you have on your PC, this is my username. And then you go to the documents folder, and there I created the Windows PowerShell folder, and inside it I created the PS1 file, which is a PowerShell script file. You can see this file has a .ps1 extension, which shows that this is a Windows PowerShell script. And if I open it with text, you get the story, right? So this is where I store the folders and the files. And how the script works, so now you know where to create all the stuff. So you just create a file here with this specific name. You need to make sure the name is this, I think. I'm not sure about the name, but this is what ChatGPT told me. You can ask ChatGPT how it differs for your operating system. This might be the name for my operating system, which is Windows. It might be different for yours, but this is for Windows version. So I named it this by using the profile command in VS Code. So it's a long story, you get it. We'll do it some other day. Alright, have a nice day, everybody.